So welcome Lana Morris, who's going to be teaching us this evening about blogging and what the essentials are and how we're all wasting so much time on our social media feeds if we're getting blogging wrong. So welcome Lana. I know you're going to be sharing with us some amazing top tips, and then we're going to get all practical and hands-on the topic. So over to you, Lana. Please take it away.
Wow, thank you for that introduction. I'm well impressed. Now I've got host disabled participant screen sharing. Fantastic. So I just want to take you back to a few weeks ago where I'd like you to all close your eyes and take that lovely deep breath in. And remember, when we did this last time, you were standing on your beautiful island. The sun was shining, the waves were lapping, and yours was the island of CherylBass.com. Yours was the island of SuzanneBernardWatts.com. Yours was the kitchenbureau.com, Kathy, and Karen's, who I do have, and now I've conveniently forgotten your URL. But these are your islands. This is your home. And if you remember, you go off to visit the island of Google, and then you come back to your own, and then you might go off to visit the island of LinkedIn. But you need to come home, because if you don't, all of your island is being built on the island of LinkedIn and the island of Google, and there is nothing on the island of CherylBass.com or Suzanne Bernard Watts or Karen or Jules, because everything is being put on the other islands. And so blogging is really, really important, because if you start with your blog first and foremost on your islands, and then you do the 8-in-1, like we showed you on the last session, you can still go and visit Google. You can still go and visit LinkedIn. You can still go and visit Pinterest. But you're saying, hey guys, look at this amazing thing I've created on the island of CherylBass.com. And they will come, because you're sending a bridge rather than you plonking all your stuff on their islands and them getting all the credit. So we're going to do a quick recap over what we covered the last few weeks, and I will give you a little update on my own blogging, because last session we attempted to do basic bones of a blog, just so that you could see the rank math and how that was working and how that will help you with your SEO. And my little update is I put out a blog post on Monday and got it into there, because if those of you that know rank math, well, you have the numbers, so you're trying to get it as close to 100 as possible. So I actually took my own advice and I wrote the blog post and I connected it to a small product, which was a meditation, and I had my first pennies from it yesterday. So this is stuff that works. It might feel a bit onerous because you're getting your head around what to write, but we've covered keywords and how to make use of your keywords. We've covered the long tail keywords so that you make it more specific, because you might have less audience, but they're going to be richer because they actually want to see your stuff. And you are just encouraging and enticing people over onto your own websites, which means your traffic is starting to come into your space. You have control of it. So if the island of LinkedIn sank tomorrow or sold on to another party, or they changed their privacy settings and you weren't happy with them, you haven't lost anything other than an outlet, but your material is still safe on your own island. So tonight's going to be shorter, because I'm then going to hand over, as Cheryl's mentioned, to Cheryl, because Cheryl's going to take us through a practical of what she's been doing on her blog. So I'm literally just going to have a quick look at creating your blog page and how to create the blogs that uplift brand you. So just very short and sweet tonight. So create them and they will come. Excuse the doggy pictures and the crystal pictures, but these are little strips that I've got on my own website and I was running out of pictures, so I just put them on. WordPress, those of you that use in WordPress, you know how, is everybody clear on how to actually get to their blog? No, yes, no. Right, so let me go. So here it is. Go to WordPress, into your dashboard, go to posts and click all posts. And that will actually give you the list of blogs that you have there already, if you have got some. And if you haven't, it will just be blank, but you'll be putting one. And then just click the button that says add new. And that is literally how you start your blog post. And then you can put your title in and you can start writing. Did everybody get the chance to put our rank math on if they haven't got Yoast? So if you've got Yoast already, you don't need to worry because that will assist you anyway. Perfect. If you haven't, rank math, the difference between the two, there's very little difference. Yoast does these little circles with the percentage of how well you're ranking with your SEO and what areas need to be paid attention to. Rank Math does it in numbers. Weirdly, I'm not a numbers person, but I prefer Rank Math because I want to get it to the magic 81 because that goes green because it's got a traffic light system as well. So anyway, if you've got Yoast, that's just as good. So stick with Yoast. Okay. You're making a shared connection. So your story does have an impact, but your customer stories have even more impact. They will come to you because you are the expert in your field, and the rest of your website will be demonstrating to them through your testimonials and social proof, through your copywriting, through what you're offering people, and your testimonials will be on your website. But the tendency is sometimes we get into the habit, and I've done this so many times and then had to stop and rethink it, is I'm writing myself, writing about me. And the reality is most of our customers aren't interested in me per se. They're actually interested in how I'm solving their problem, how I'm elaborating on something that they're experiencing, you know, all of those things. So when we go through this, and there's a couple of little acronyms to remember, think of it from the perspective of your customer and your customer avatar. If you can manage to do a 60-40 split, where 60% of the content that you create is targeted at your customer avatar and what they might be thinking and feeling, and then 40% as you the expert, having that expert knowledge, then you're getting a great balance, because that means your clients will engage because they really get a sense that you understand and know them well, but they can also see that you have this credible authority of knowledge that they know that they can tap into and be reassured with. So try and think both you're giving from you and who you are and how you can help people, but also thinking through if your customer was writing, what would they be really interested about, so that you can get that nice balance. Okay, so how your blog uplifts your brand, you. And the main thing here is to think about your vibe, or think about your atmosphere. So again, I just want you to just humor me for a minute. Take a nice deep breath in and close your eyes. And I just want you to think of 3 words that sum up your vibe. And just jot them down. So like today, I met somebody who said that they were elegant, that they were approachable, and they were sleek. They were their 3. So their blogging has to match that type of vibe, that feeling they're conveying. Mine is more nature, comfort, because I don't like getting dressed up, being out in nature, and what would be the other thing? Calm, because I just like to have calmness around me. And so my blog should be in some way, shape or form helping to imbue that sense so that customers really get, or clients get, a real consistent sense, not just from what your website looks like, but how you're conveying your message through your blogging. Okay. And just, you know, my favorite man is Neil Patel, because he's like the god of SEOing as far as I'm concerned. But I just wanted to remind you, so his quote, marketers who prioritize blogging are 13 times more likely to achieve a positive return on investment on their efforts. You know, it's staggering that for little old blogs, they actually are incredibly powerful tools that you have at your disposal. So it's really worth investing a little bit of time just to get your rhythm of writing. And, you know, you're all incredible writers because you've all been doing your websites and you're all engaging. So, you know, and you've got an absolute expert in the room with Karen, who I'm sure can help you if you're concerned about how your writing is. I'm sure she can give you some tips and techniques to enable you to strengthen that as well. So it's definitely worth taking some time. Now, we mentioned in, I don't know if it was last session or the time before, try to write your levels of interest and your passion, and rather than trying to write to a keyword. And this was my major mistake when I first started blogging, was I had reams and reams and reams of keywords, and then I was trying to work out, right, how do I get that keyword in the title? How do I write that keyword in? And what happened was my writing went from quite engaging to quite perfunctory and flatlined, because there was none of me in it. There wasn't my little quirks and nuances. I was just too focused on the keywords. So write what you need, be aware of the keywords that you're going to use, write how you want to and what you want to say, and then go back and sprinkle in. And again, if you've got Rank Math or Yoast, they will direct you to areas that you might want to pay some more attention to after you've written the post. So you can go back in and start tweaking and playing with it. Rat gum. So if you haven't, has anybody come across this? Some of you might have come across this, some of you haven't. So this I discovered from my partner, who was really into internet marketing a couple of years ago, and this came out through one of the people that he was following. And I think it's a standard in internet marketing anyway, but RATGUMS is standing for Rant, Affiliate Review, Tutorial, Guest Survey, User Feedback, and Monthly Roundups. I will send you the PDF of this presentation so you don't have to write loads of notes. I should have said that at the beginning, really, shouldn't I? Instead of you're scribbling away furiously. So what they suggest is pick a day. Rant is a Monday, affiliate reviews a Tuesday, tutorial Wednesday, guest survey Thursday, user feedback on a Friday, and then once a month do a roundup. And when they talk about a rant, it's pretty much what's really, excuse my French, pissed you off this week. Or what is it about your profession? What is it about your industry that really has hacked you off? What is it about, you know, how your therapies might be misaligned or misunderstood by the masses? So what has hacked you off enough that has compelled you to write a rant? And that gives you the opportunity almost to sort of blast out some of the little truth bombs within your niche area that sometimes don't get raised or looked at. For example, if you're dealing in the area of trauma, you might be having a rant about how is it that some people assume that trauma can be just transformed in one session, when we know psychologically that people can return back to that trauma at any time. It can be triggered. So that might be your rant, you know, or it could be if you're in, I don't know, maybe you're in landscape gardening. why is it that some gardeners tell you to scrabble the roots of the plant to stretch them out, but then other people say don't do that because you'll damage the plant? So they're just simple rants that you can be doing. Now, an affiliate review might be something that you have become an affiliate for, and you are reviewing the efficiency, the value, the quality of this product or service, and that at the end of it you're saying, you know, I love it so much that I've become an affiliate for it, so here's a little link with a little, you know, money off or a gift voucher attached to it if you use this link. So your call to action connects you back to your own affiliate links if you've become an affiliate for other services or products. Tutorial, this is where you get to shine as the expert. So you pick an aspect within your niche where you are delivering that content and value. So, for example, you could class this as a tutorial. I'm just doing it in vlog form rather than blog form, but remember your vlog can get posted on your blog and therefore you're still making use of it and you can have the transcript. So there's 2 in 1 there. But that tutorial enables people to recognize the, you know, the value that you're bringing to the table, and enables people to get a sort of sense of what would it be like to work with you. Your guest survey, and this is one's great, and I love this one because the guest survey is you putting up a poll on your blog, you know, saying, oh, I don't know, I'm thinking of rebranding, I'm thinking of using these sorts of colors and fonts. What's your thoughts? And actually encouraging your audience to engage through the comments, where you're actually then going to take some of their comments and really, you know, build a blog around those comments and really elaborate on them. And then use the feedback. Same principle as the survey, as the poll. Instead of using a poll, you will just go through your previous blogs where people have commented and you say, okay, so, you know, Mickey Mouse wrote this amazing feedback on my blog entitled which gives you your backlink. And so I'm really going to explore in more detail what Mickey Mouse was referring to when Mickey Mouse mentioned that the blog had triggered for him how to date Minnie Mouse. And so the comments that your clients are putting in then become a very full, detailed blog around that feedback. So it's a bit like a kind of weird case study where somebody's written that feedback and you're going to really dig in deep and start elaborating on it. And then, as I said, you've got the monthly roundups where you can just look across your blogging for the month and just literally take the snippets and go, right, okay, if you remember, you know, at the beginning of April, we explored, you know, how easy it is to create blogging. And then by the middle of April, we went into, you know, well, how do you SEO on blog posts? And we covered these particular products that would help you. And by the end of the month, we've all got blogs on our pages, and, you know, some of those have been monetized and some of those have been connected to our 8-in-1 ways of creating social media content from our blog post. And so next month's theme will be da-da. And so you've done your monthly roundup. So it just gives you different ways that you can play. The other one, which you're probably far more familiar with, is, I always say, Ada, because that's the only way I remember it. And again, when you're writing your blog, it will be awareness. So this could be something that maybe a client, maybe you're doing coaching, one-to-one coaching sessions, and you've noticed that clients that come to you haven't done some prep work. So you might be doing an awareness blog saying, when you come to work with me, some of the things that I like to do is here's a checklist for you, or here's whatever, and then you've got a link to that, and that's your awareness raising. Or it could be awareness raising around a particular theme, or you could link it to a previous rant if you're using the rat gum approach. Interest is obviously you're trying to elicit their level of interest, and encourage them to be more interested in what you do. So you can think about how some of the things that you do create that level of interest. So like Kathy's kitchen, I love that pull out shelf underneath the cooker in the copper kitchen. I keep calling it the copper kitchen. I don't know what else it's called, but it's beautiful. And there's a part of me going, oh, I'm really interested in that shelf. What exactly is it there for and what does it do? Because I don't know much about kitchens, but I know I really like it because I saw it being pulled out on the night that we were there. So Kathy might go on to write a post going, well, what is it about these slidey out shelves that go under an oven? What's their purpose? And why is it really useful for you to have in your kitchen? So she's triggering more interest. Desire is then, she could then do a follow-on blog saying, so now you understand what that little shelf does. Wouldn't it be amazing if you had that in your kitchen? Did you know that we offer a free service of actually plotting out your kitchen by designing it, and we can get one of those shelves in for you? So you're moving on to a desire, but you can also connect your blogging together and have them related as a theme. And then the last thing would be action. So you can use this both within the blog in terms of your structure. Did you know that I've got a new course coming out next month? It's called this, and it's only going to be, for 3 months. And at the end of that 3 months, you're going to feel this. Have you ever wondered how that might feel like? So you've already got your awareness and your interest. Have a listen to such and such. You went on this course before when they discovered that this could help them with and then you're creating your desire. So take action now. Why don't you call for an exploratory call, or why don't you click here to find out more information about this? So you can use it both within the blog, and you can use them as individual blogs where you can create a theme. So blog 1 might be that you really focus on the awareness of a service or product. Blog 2 might be, well, what kind of people would be interested in that, and how might I interest you in that? Blog 3, what are the desires? So you'll know what the problem areas are, so you can start looking at the benefits of providing this service or product. And then the 4th one would be, well, what happens if you don't take action? How are you going to feel then? But what happens if you do take action? And you might want to then incentivize it by providing, an extra exploratory call or a bonus or something like that. So that pretty much gives you another way that you can use your blog. And to finish, if you need any help with blogs, just give us a call or drop us a text, and I can help you with any of your blogging things. And now I'm going to seamlessly pass over to Cheryl, who is going to take you through some of the practice of actually doing the blogging.
Right, so I'm going to be, can you put the host back? Host disable participate screen sharing. Am I back? So I'm on screen share? No, I'm not. Share screen. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen with you and set this out as a really practical piece for you. So I'd like you to start thinking of your own website. And this is really basic stuff, but it's basic stuff that perhaps you haven't considered for you. So I'd like to have a show of hands. A lot of people have put their cameras off. I bet people are eating and they're munching away. So I'd like to know how many of you have got on your header bar blog. Yeah, so we've got 2. Okay, so I'm just going to admit Lana. Yeah, so that's a basic thing. Yeah, so if people are looking for you to have a blog, you need to have on your website your header that says blog. Yeah, it's such a basic thing. Okay, so for me, so I've changed all of this today. So my header now reads, blog. So when people are looking for my blog, they're going to find my blog. Yeah. So then when you click through on the blog, so this is now what my blog page looks like. So my blog page does look good now. It looks shite this afternoon, So it was things like I'd never considered the background to the blog posts, so that when people look at the page, it looks as though you've designed the page for a blog to sit on, yeah? And also a navigation to somebody coming to this page, so that there's a picture for me, about me, yeah? I've got the heading, business blogging, because that's what I'm going to be doing, business blogging. And then I'm telling people what this business blog is all about, yeah? Here's an exciting space where I aim to share with you my insights, learnings, case study observations, so that people who arrive at this page know what that's about. And also, I've labeled my photograph, Cheryl Bass, yeah? So if people go on Google looking for Cheryl Bass, they know they're going to get, I know they're going to be signposted to a blog page. My latest, thing that I've got going is my book. So I've put that up on the blog page as well with, buy it on Amazon. And so these posts, so this is what works and what doesn't work, yeah? So if you were to look at women in business need to be on YouTube, yeah? Did you know 99% of people don't support you? Failure can make us better or bitter. So when you start looking at these three, I haven't doctored these today, yeah? So, and the first two I have. So the difference is now these are appealing photographs that I've put up. I haven't just grabbed them because they're on my website, yeah? And these I've called things that relate to the SEO. And they look better. So can you see what I mean? These two pictures look a lot better than these three pictures, yeah? Even to the extent where people are going to be looking at the dates of your blog posts. So it's really important that you get rid of old blog posts and or refresh them and put current dates on them, because this one goes back to February the 6th, 2020. The next one is February the 7th, 2020. And then I jump forward a year. So this looks weird. It's like as though, well, this person obviously isn't a regular blogger. So if you go into blog, your blogs are going to be dated. So there needs to be some consistency. Otherwise, people will think, are you just jumping on this at random? So this afternoon, I started writing a blog, this blog here. So we're just going to go into it, yeah? And so this is where Lana and I are going to work as like a double act on this, okay? Because I've now connected my piece of software to this so that I can clearly see what the SEO is, and it's 11 out of 100. There's no point me, in the past I would have posted that, but if I'm only going to get 11 out of 100, why bother? Yeah. So it gets you becoming far more critical about the posts that you're writing. Because this afternoon I recognized, so if we were to go back to these other posts, yeah, failure can make us better or bitter, yeah, I'm asking myself, why in the heck did I write this piece? It's an entertainment piece. It's a pure entertainment piece. And it only got 12 out of 10. So why did I bother doing that? So what I know I had been doing is writing stuff and entertainment stuff on social media and just mapping it over. Whereas really it's the realization I've got to write my blog and then send it out over to social media. So it's just that we've all been doing it backwards, as opposed to working out how to get these edited. Because after all, if we can get this bit right, we're going to be ranked highly on Google. And when people start looking for us, people are going to be coming to our blogs, and we're going to be seen as industry experts, as opposed to just replicating posts that we've written on social media. So this afternoon was a huge realization to me. So I'm going to, how do we do this? Lana, where I need you to be speaking as well as we're working on the post.
Well, I'll try not to speak over you, over you when you're speaking. So what I would say is, those of you who've got Yoast, you're going to have similar, but obviously yours is going to look slightly different. But the first thing that to look at really is, obviously the number is very low. You've only got 11 out of 100, I think, on this one for SEO. So one way of doing it is to literally, if you scroll down to where those the commentary is, and you can see we've got basic SEO. So the first thing is have a look at the title, because there isn't a focus keyword. And the way to do that is if you scroll down a little bit, and you can see where it says snippet, underneath there's a gap that says focus keyword. This is where you're going to need to play. So I would try the word business first, because it will only accept one on here. And just to hit that, so that's only come up as 11 out of 100. So that's not really, oh no, it's jumped up to 58. So that's not bad. So just delete that and try the word woman, because here you're looking for the highest ranking that you can get in your title. And remember, some of these will, so that's not very high. So go back to the word business, because you're getting a higher ranking on business. And remember, if you've already done your keyword research, then go through your keywords. This is the point at which you start looking through your keyword research, because that will help you get an understanding of the words and how they're ranking. So that's not bad for the moment. So because you've jumped that up quite significantly, and you can see now you've managed to get 4 ticks out of 6 on your basic SEO. Now the next thing is it's saying the focus keyword was not found in the URL. So that's saying that in the link or the URL of this particular post, the actual word business isn't in there. So if you just scroll down a little bit, and you've done the featured image, just trying to find the, if you scroll back up and just go to where it says, right, yours is slightly different to mine because I use slightly different things. So what we're looking for is where your URL is. So have a look on the right-hand side. Usually you have a little, it shows you on your
the URL's underneath the title at the top. It says edit.
Oh, you can edit there, yeah, because you can also do it from the right, but I can't find it on the right. So go up to that one where the permalink is and hit the edit on there. And then change that to what do inspiring female business women want, or what do business women want? Because remember, this is what the URL is, not the title of the post. So just change that to what do women entrepreneurs want or women in business want. But remember to keep it fairly small, because otherwise you'll get penalized if it's too long. Right.
You need to add the dashes in as well.
Yeah. Okay, click OK. Take off the question mark in the URL.
Okay.
And click OK, and then take yourself down, and hopefully that'll have jumped a little bit more. And if it hasn't, it might be that we need to make it shorter. So if you just scroll back down, you'll be able to see now on your... There we go. So can you see already that this is very easy? And I will tell you now, it becomes highly addictive, because when you first start, it's like, oh, I got 43 out of 100 on that. And then it's like, oh, I wonder if I could bump it up. And before you know it, it's like, oh, if I haven't got 89 out of 100, then it's just not worth doing, you know. So it does get very addictive.
But already we've jumped from 11 SEO to 63, and we've just tweaked 2 things. Now that is spectacular when it comes to people finding you on Google. Yeah. Can I give other people some other tips out to people? Yeah. So when I went on to remember Lana's introduced us to Neil Patel and Uber Suggest. Yeah. So I went on, and remember we can do, I think it's 3 searches a day on Uber Suggest in order to find out what the keywords are. When it comes to, if you pop in a word, I popped in women in business. Yeah. And so women in business is quite popular, it's higher than women in business grants, but it was interesting to see what the other ones were alongside it. But women in business, it has quite a good rating above all of these. So, but what it did, when you start typing in these words, I started as Lana told us, put the words into Google and see what other people are searching on. I noted down what Lana said and put the keywords into Google and started looking at what other people said. And I wrote them all down. Yeah. I wrote what other people are searching for. But it was the huge realization when I wrote those things down that they were titles of future posts for me. So it saved me so much work, because I've got about 20 topics I can now write on that I know people are searching on. Yeah. As opposed to every day thinking, what am I going to talk about today when I'm writing a post? So going back to this post then, and also from what people were searching on, I created a little list then that it's worth, what women in business are looking for based on the keywords that people are looking for. So I'm saying, women exploring. So again, we know business is a key word. So I know I've got to put more of the business in. Yet so many, I should put business women. Yeah. Face starting a business with no money. Women, so I've put in there the other things that are in the search engines that women are looking for: women in business grants, women in business books, women in business scholarships, women in business net. So I'm actually going through what I know that women are searching on and saying that women are looking for this when they're starting up in business. So we've now got this ranking to 63 out of 100, and we've now gone, it's almost like we're in the amber zone. So how do we get this into the green zone? Because we've only got 1 red cross, and that means I've got to write more. Yeah.
Yes. So on that one, what I would be tempted to do is, if you take us back up to your text. So what I would be tempted to do is, where you've put, there are many successful women in business stories out there to gain business tips, business advice, business ideas, and starting a business checklists. I would give examples. I would say, for example, and then have a look at some of the successful women in business that you can refer to, because that will do 2 things. One, you're highlighting other women, successful women in business. But secondly, you are going to get the links to their websites, which is going to create your backlinks, which is going to increase your rankings, because you're now connecting to somebody else's website.
So let's go and pick somebody then. Who do we like?
What about Karen Brady? So she's very well known, isn't she? So let's see if she's got her own website, which I'm sure she must do somewhere. There we go, KarenBrady.com down the bottom, Karen Brady's official website. There we go. Copy that link and then go back over to your post. And then, for example, Karen Brady, don't put the link in yet, just type the name Karen Brady. And then you're going to highlight over her name and you're going to create the link there. So highlight that, go to your link and then paste in. Okay, and then just click OK for that, or enter. There we go. So you've connected that. And then hopefully what we'll see as we go down the if you take yourself further down the page on the SEO, we've jumped up to 69.
69.
Right, but scroll on down just where we've got the basic SEO. And can you go down to additional and just expand the additional? And just scroll. Great. So it says at least one external link with a do follow was found in your content. That is your Karen Brady link.
Okay. What
Okay.
about focus key is not found in the subheading? Where's the subheading?
You haven't put a subheading in. So that's the next thing that you need to do is go back up to your text.
Yeah.
And I would say what is worth exploring for women looking at how to start a small business. I think you should create that as a subheading. So just highlight it. Highlight that whole sentence. What is worth exploring for women? Just above your bullets.
Yeah.
And then highlight that whole thing. Just that line. Yeah. Go up to paragraph. Under add media. Click that and change it to heading 2. There's your subheading. And then you can just add a sentence underneath that saying, women look to start businesses in the following ways. And then you've got your bullets.
Women are looking. Women in business. Yeah.
Yep. Now, can you see we jumped up to 72 out of 100?
Oh, we're up to 72. I'm so excited.
Okay. So scroll down. Okay, so your content is 130 words for you to get the extra points. Really, like I said before, you need to have a minimum of 600 words on your blog post, absolute minimum. Because that means that you'll always go over onto that, and that could be the difference between, 3 or 4 points. And points mean prizes, because this is your SEO prize. So I would suggest you go back into your text and just put a few more paragraphs in just to get that tipping up to 600. Okay.
Internal links. What are internal?
Right. So previous blog post. Is there a previous blog post that you have written that you could connect to this blog? Because you could put, so I would get rid of that and just put so you could put, if you haven't yet seen my, and whatever it was called, biter or bitter or whatever, click here. And that takes you back to your internal previous blog posts. So that becomes your internal.
Right, yeah.
Okay, and that will get you up some points. And then just carry on, just go back down to your SEO.
Yeah.
Right, so your keyword, add an image with your focus keyword as alt text. So you need to go back to your featured image.
Yeah.
And just click on it. You don't need to remove it. Click on it. And then where it says title, you need to put women in business.
It does say women in business.
No, on the alt text, not on the title, alt text, women in business.
Yeah.
Okay, and set featured image. Right, okay, we've gone up to 74 out of 100.
Wow.
So can you see, it's actually really easy to get your SEO done. You've just got to follow it's almost a cookie cutter approach on this one. You've just got to follow what comes up on your SEO to get you through. So if you go into, so we know that to get the basic SEO done, you've just got to add more words to that blog. You've got to get it up to 600 words. Okay. So you might want to put a couple more examples, like Karen Brady. You might just want to elaborate, why is Karen Brady a good example? for women. You might think of other women that you want to also illustrate and highlight. That will get you a few more paragraphs. You might also add some business quotes. Look, because you say I love searching on women in business quotes on different themes. So find a few quotes that relate that you can put in, and that will take it up. And you're aiming to get it to the magic 600 words on that blog, and that will get you over that hump and get it up a bit more. And then if you go back to the additional, and click expand on the additionals. So we've got the density. So it's saying that the focus appears 17 times, but once you've fleshed out with a couple of paragraphs, that will just space it out a bit, so it won't be so intense, and that will turn green. And then obviously the internal links would be if you already had written a blog post previously, or you might have had an interview. Maybe you've got something on YouTube that you've also got that you can then connect back to. So, but ideally you want a previous blog that you can link back to get your internal link. And then by the time you've done that, you'll be in the mid 80s, which will get you a good SEO ranking.
And I think the key with this is to have good quality blog posts that you can create these internal links with. I think you've got to rethink your photography. Be prepared to invest in something like Canva, where you can go in there and pick up some lovely photographs and call them what you need to call them. But Lana's already showed us, how we can, even when we bring in a photograph, we can call them, what we need to call them again to click in with the SEO. Something else that we haven't mentioned is that when it comes to your author, remember to enable you being an author, so that within your blog post, when people click through to the real blog, you're there listed. So we'll just update this and then go into the blog. I know it still looks very messy, this is very much in progress, but we wanted you to experience how to go from 11 to something that's passable, that'll get you ranked. Yeah. So once when we go into the site now and we go into the blog, yeah, obviously we need to sort out this so that they're all consistent. When we go into this blog, yeah, so my author details haven't connected here, which they should. But when this is set up properly, I don't know if it's just this blog or the others have experiencing the same problem. So this is what should come up, yeah? So you should have loaded a little bit about you. So on every blog that I write, when I enable the author, it brings up a photograph of me, my name, and my qualifications. So that's really important, because if somebody starts looking for you with your name on Google, then your blog is going to be picked up because your author details are connected to your blog. Yeah. And just the whole importance of photography. This is just a photograph that I've re-engineered, and I really should have just done a fresh image for this blog. And I see blogging as an investment into brand you, because this should be, when we say we're building our brand, our blog is the essence of who we are, and we really should spend the time putting over via a blog the best we can be, so when our peers go onto our blog, they get who we are. So now you guys know who I am, yeah? So that I'd spent from 30 years working at high end, doing business turnarounds like the BBC, Kraft Foods, big pharmaceutical companies. I'm a no shit Sherlock kind of business coach. I get in there, I can take an organization apart and put it back together. I've done management buyouts, I restructured within the BBC, yeah. I coach some of the top entrepreneurs in the UK, and look at my blog, it's shite. That is not me. Yeah. And I'm saying, you know, all the things I've done wrong, for you just to be vulnerable and put myself on the line to say, you're probably doing the same. You've probably got all this experience behind you. You've probably learned so much doing what you do. Yet when it comes to, you know, your island, these blogs are not representative of the sheer quality of work you've done in the past and the experience you've gleaned from the past. Yeah. So you can see when it comes to blogging, okay, we've got it wrong so far, but we've got the opportunity to put it right. We can all get behind one another and get these blog pages and our blog postings put right. So I would say this is probably going to take me a month to get sorted, but when it's sorted, it's probably going to be one of the best business blogs out there, so that when people come to my island of my business blog page, they're going to want to come back to see what I'm writing about. They're going to know I'm a woman of experience. I'm not just a la 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 kind of, you know, let's do this in business. I've not only know how to do it, I've got the experience of doing it. And when people start reading my blogs, they can get the sense of who I am and what I've achieved. I'm an award-winning researcher. Look at my blogs. I got 5 blogs up there. A load of nonsense. Yeah. The books I've published, they're not in my blogs. Yeah. The kind of companies I've worked with, it's not in my blogs. The kind of people I've trained and coached, it's not in my blogs. Yeah. So you might be chit-chatting all this stuff on social media, but I can tell you what, it's you know, it's yesterday's chip paper. Yeah.
Just to add to that as well, Cheryl, is if you remember when we looked at, you know, and there's nothing wrong with you guys posting on LinkedIn. So please don't feel that I'm sort of slapping you and go, oh, don't. Because you do have to go to media outlet or social media outlets in order to generate traffic to come back to your website. But change it around. Start with your blog first and then go to that 8-in-1 we looked at a couple of weeks ago and extract from your blog your social media posts. So what Cheryl could do is go into that blog, take a paragraph that she's really comfortable and happy with, copy that, go into Canva, set up a Facebook post, post that text on there, and then post that as a Facebook post in with the link to her website on there. She can also take sharing that blog. I mean, what I tend to do now is I write the blog, I will then copy my link and I will share it as a post on my Facebook business page. And that's one. I also share it on my Facebook story. So I know people start viewing it on there. I then take the image over to Canva, I find a nice image and just put a text and I take that to Pinterest and I add the blog post there. And if you remember, we looked at 8 different ways you can do that. There are actually 23 different ways that you can use one blog post to get across to 23 pieces of content for your social media. So instead of racing around doing LinkedIn and getting a day, if you're lucky, attention from it, go to your blog because your blog's longer lasting, because people will stumble across it years after you've written it and it will still be relevant to them because they've searched for that term, so it's going to be relevant. So it's just, I can't emphasize enough how much power you have when you're creating your own blog posts.
So can we take some Q&As? So what questions do people have? You know, what have you learned from that? So can I come to you first, Lara? What have you discovered by this evening's masterclass, looking at bloggings and how we set up this whole world of your island as a blog?
Wow. Apologies for being late, ladies. Yeah, fascinating. Sorry I missed the first bit, but glad you've got the recording. Yeah, incredible. In fact, I was looking on the website today to see how to do it. So yes, but actually seeing you go through it like that was really, really helpful. So for someone who's not sort of done a blog on a website, a WordPress site like that, that was really, really helpful. So it's made me feel that, yes, I can do it. It's interesting because I've kind of deviated away from doing blog posts because I kind of knew that I didn't know what I was doing. So I rather would not have anything at all. I totally get what you're saying. You know, it's your personal brand throughout. And I think that's why I've shied away, because I want it to look good when it goes out. But to see that ranking go up is quite incredible just by changing the words. So yes, oh my goodness me, what about, hey, in about 6 weeks time when we all come back with these absolutely whizzy websites and blog posts? Woohoo. Just one question though, if we're going to start commenting like we do in the LinkedIn pod, is it not going to look a bit sus that when someone goes to your website and they see that, you know, Karen, Suzanne, Kathy and Barbara and Lara and Cheryl are the only ones that, I mean, hopefully we will get more people, but is that a problem or not? Or is that okay?
You do need to be a little careful, because if you get the same suspects on this always commenting, then yes, you need to just be a little careful. So it might be best that, depending on who's in the hub of that, is that you alternate. So it might be that you put one blog post out a week, because you can get your 8 other pieces of content for the other parts of your social media. So one blog post a week, and then maybe week 1, 4 or 5 of you comment, week 2, 4 or 5 of you comment that are not from week 1, and you just alternate that way until the traction happens and you start getting other people. And remember, instead of writing your post on LinkedIn, write your blog, take a snippet over to LinkedIn, link it back to your blog, and then hopefully you'll start getting the people that you've already generated interest from doing your initial LinkedIn tag team will naturally gravitate back to your own websites. So yeah, so you might just need a little bit of organization, but you know, it's doable.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, ladies.
And the beautiful thing about the comments on a blog is that if somebody's like Kathy, for example, left me a lovely comment on a LinkedIn post, yeah? Do you think I could find it today when I was writing a testimonial on the website? I just couldn't find it within the feeds. So, you know, it's great to use those comments as a form of testimonial, because Kathy was saying, you know, I just wish I joined Aspire before I set up in business, blah, 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 blah. And when I read it that morning, I thought, I'm going to have to grab that. And then the feeds go and you're thinking, where's that comment gone? I would have wanted that comment on my website. Yeah. So sorry, Kathy, I just made another one up for you. As far as it was similar to it, but it's one of those things where people are giving you such great feedback on your feeds in Facebook and LinkedIn, but you're losing them all because the feeds disappear. So that's another added advantage of, you know, adding the comments on your website page. So I'm going to come to you, Suzanne. How do you think, you know, how has this information sort of resonated with you this evening?
It's been quite amazing, because everything that I've watched with both Jules and Lara, I implemented. And as you know, my post went up from 30 people, 100 people to like nearly 2,000 now. But I haven't posted for the last few weeks because I'm just in a struggle with a neighbour because he's dying and I need to be there. In fact, I'm going after this. But every single thing that I have heard, I have implemented so far, and it has absolutely changed all of the feedback that I've been getting. So, and even with Lara, not Lana, Lara, she gave me some amazing information when she did a post, well, not a post, she actually hosted an evening, and that was absolute. I took everything on board, wrote all, and it was the words. And I'm understanding that words are so important. It's not what you think is right. You can think that anything is brilliant through your ideas of what the world wants. But when you actually drill it down to who is listening, you need to talk through their language. So what Lana has said about looking at keywords and everything, and also with Karen, Karen Brown, what she's taught as well, it has been quite amazing. And then when Kathy came in, I thought, how's this going to work? And then I thought, and I took on board everything Kathy gave. So between us, we have got the awesomeness to be absolutely out there. So girls,
Let's
go for it.
just imagine now, Suzanne, if those, because I know you had some really popular LinkedIn posts.
Oh wow, yeah.
Just imagine if they'd been put on a blog page on your website.
Oh,
yeah,
I've already thought of that.
and if you would then, you know, as you are writing similar themes, you kept, you know, as Lana was saying, using the internal links to refer back to those stories. Yeah,
Absolutely.
imagine
Yeah.
what your Google ranking would be like. Yeah, because after
Oh,
all, LinkedIn won't be affecting that Google ranking as much as if you would put those blog posts on your website and interlink them. So I think we're all going to be just whizzes after this. You know, people are going to be watching to see what we're doing. So thank you for that feedback, Suzanne. I'm now going to come to Karen. Karen, what are your insights from this evening?
I don't know. Seeing you using the rank math, it's just like, that's so much easier than Yoast. And seeing the numbers going up and the effectiveness of what you're doing, I actually quite like that. I'm going to switch over and see that and play around with it, because I've got about 200 blog posts over 5 or 6 years since I've been doing this. And of course, most of them are shite. Most of them need updating. And most of them need SEO on there. And I did have in the previous version somebody do that for me, but when Dad died, I forgot to renew the website, so I had to rebuild it from scratch. But I didn't have all the information. I had an old version saved so that I could upload that and restart it. But yeah, I just need to get my arse in gear.
The software's free. The software's free as well. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? So I'm going to come to you, Barbara. What insights do you have from this evening?
Oh my God, a lot. I always like writing and stuff, but I didn't realize how in depth it was and how many things you've got to look at to actually make it rank. And I'm really, really grateful and astounded at all the different tools there are there to actually help bring it up. I've not started my blog. I haven't got a website at the minute. I'm a bit behind things as well for many, many reasons. But I'm just so glad that I'm coming in and listening to all of these, because I'll sit down and listen to them all one by one later on again. And once I'm up and running, hopefully in the next month, I'm going to be able to implement them. But I'm just so, in fact, I can sit and write blogs at the minute, even if I don't put them out there, I can practice with it. So I've learned so much. It's just been priceless what you've been teaching us, Lana. I'm really grateful and really sort of like playing around words. I love playing around with words, but I never thought of actually having those words that will actually up your ranking. So thank you, really, really grateful.
Thank you. So I'm going to come to you, Kathy. What insights have you learned from this evening?
I've just been amazed that all this technology is out there to help us, to make it easy. But you know what's really precious is everybody's experience here and pointing it out and sharing, you know, because You could send me something in a package and a link, and I could open it up, and then I would be a bit overwhelmed. You know, like, oh, how do I get my head around this now? You know, just using emails years ago is dreadful. But so this is what's great about this, and I will as like Barbara go back now and I'm a more practical person, so I have to be trying to do it myself and then watch the video then to see right, now I've got to this bit, I'm stuck. And yeah, so that's amazing. And I'm beating myself up because it's all there for us to be way up there, you know. It's not going to take much, but it's that little X factor. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So what I'm going to challenge everyone to do by next week, because I don't think we're ready to move on from this subject, I'm going to ask people to look at developing a blog page on their website and just do one blog, yeah, and get the experience of writing one blog that they can get up to the green zone, yeah. And we're just going to share our experiences next time, because it's almost like as though, yes, when we listen we know, but it's until we start experiencing does that knowing come alive and turn into something highly practical that's going to take our businesses forward. Yeah, so I'd like us all just to do that, in some ways a small piece. Load the software, yeah, it's free, and write a blog post and get it into the green zone and just give feedback, and we can all take this to a next level, because it'd be really lovely then to see that put into action and then see how we can take that apart and then send it out to social media feeds, just to see how that all goes out and then comes back. And I think perhaps we might be ready to explore another piece of software. Perhaps we can tag it into the end of next week, where we can start measure the results of doing that. Yeah. So could we put some sort of could you think, Lana, of what software we could load up again on our websites for free, where we can start reading the results of the impact of us doing that?
Well, if you've got Rank Math or Yoast, they'll be giving you analytics anyway. But sometimes I think seeing them, but then understanding what they're actually measuring. I know it took me a while to understand what Rank Math was actually measuring in terms of its analytics. So you'll already have that on your website if you've used Rank Math. You'll have it if you've used Yoast. It'll just be presented in a different format. So it might be worth just getting to know that tool a little bit more so that you can see how it impacts when you're actually writing your blog, and then what to look for then as you start seeing the analytics coming through, so you can get an understanding of it. And just one final thing, because unfortunately I've got to shoot off now. I've put the presentation from this evening in the chat box so that you can download it from there as well.
Lovely. Could we all give Lana a round of applause, because she's been absolutely awesome. Thank you, Lana. You're absolutely superstar. So we'll see Lana next week, yeah? But what I'm going to challenge you all, just to run through again what the challenge is for next week. Everyone's going to, who has got a WordPress website, is going to install Rank Math, yeah? And is going to write a blog that'll end up on a blog page. So you're going to be formatting your blog page, getting one blog up and writing this blog so that you can see the result of turning it into a green, highly scored post. And as Karen said, perhaps then share it out on Facebook, tag everyone in, yeah, so that people get to see it. We can all then come back to your website and go into your comments page and leave a comment. And then we can also start reading next week the analytics, because as Lana just said, the analytics already sits in Rank Math. So we can go into that same piece of software to see the result of writing that post, and then see what happens. Yeah, I know we're getting really highly technical, but I think we're on the cusp of achieving some awesome results using all these skills. So I just want to do a quick round robin before we sign off. We've got 10 minutes. I'd like to know, because, you know, it's about making you accountable as well. Between this week and next week, how do you think you're going to do? So I'm going to come to you first, Lara. How do you think you're going to do with that challenge, putting it into practice?
Well, I've already carved out some time with Lana. I'm actually taking her up on one of her packages because I know I need a bit of help. So I'm feeling quite confident that I'm going to do it. We started to have a look today. It's interesting because I might have to have a chat with you, Cheryl, because at the moment some of your posts are coming up and we had to check that we did a test to make sure it didn't come up on your page to do with Aspire. So yeah, I certainly feel you know, ready to go with it, looking forward to it. Yeah, and as you say, it's a bit like what to write about. It's actually doing what you said earlier. The blog titles are already there if we go down to those Google searches that we were looking at last week. So yes, I'm gonna, yeah, looking forward to it.
And also, you know, I'd like to challenge you, Lara, because you've accomplished so much in your past. It's almost like as though it's part of brand you, it's part of the caliber of who you are. And perhaps you need to write some posts just telling people about your experience.
Yeah, because I've not done that. It's not documented. It's not documented that, yeah, I built a business up and sold it in 3 years, just the email list. Well, it wasn't emails then, it was just the database for £20,000 20 years ago. That was a lot of money for just for a list of names in a small little Cotswold town. Yeah, I've never written about that.
And perhaps there's a way of weaving that in as far as, you know, data protection or something like GDPR and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's a way of incorporating that piece of a story. Yeah.
Yes.
So fantastic. So you're going to be busy, but you got some great help, which is really good.
There's just so many things, isn't there? We could actually spend all our time just working on our businesses and not in our businesses. Do you all find that, ladies? We literally could just be doing all this stuff and not earning money. You know, I'm having to be really, oh, I've left it downstairs, but I've made this fantastic board where I'm carving out the days that I'm actually seeing clients, because otherwise I'm not going to earn any money.
Oh, well done. So over to you, Kathy. How are you going to fare getting some of this stuff put into practice for you?
Well, I think I'm going to have a little wander around the showroom, pick out some magic bits of it and start designing some blogs around that and get some information in. And yeah, I think I'm going to get my head around all this technology as well. So excited about that.
But can you imagine now people come into the Kitchen Bureau website and been able to go and read your blog where you've written an article on a blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, amazing.
Even down to, you know, perhaps, you know, culinary tips or that incorporate why you need this device in your kitchen and all that kind of stuff.
True.
Yeah.
You're a genius.
Lovely. Thank you, Kathy. And Barbara, how are you going to fare putting this into action?
Right, well, like I said, my website's not up and my blog isn't up, but I'm going to go and speak to the lady who's going to help me with setting that up, and I'm going to start writing as well and start playing with it. So yeah, don't know where I'll be up to with it because there's a lot going on here at the minute where I'm staying, but I'll do my best.
Well done. So I'm going to come to you, Suzanne. What are you going to put into action for next week? How do you think you're going to fare?
I'm definitely going to make a positive blog. And oh God, I am so inspired, not just by one person tonight, but everybody, because I'm looking at the screen and I'm seeing Lara inspires me like daily. She's got so many things come up on my page. And even when I'm over there sitting and babysitting and everything, it's like, oh God, yeah. And I actually share everything that you put with the 90-year-old lady, Lara. I tell her about colours and things, because although she's 90, she's still like, you know, well, partially there. But I do tell her and share that. And also with Karen, they've seen the books I've done and they say, how did you do that? And I just say, oh, you go on a 5-day thing. And, you know, they go, 5 days? You learned how to do this? I said, yes. So it's just been amazing being in this group, being able to share everything. And also, oh God, Beth, who isn't here tonight. You know, I'm talking about Beth and what she can give. So within the group, there are so many things I can gift, even though my life at the moment is virtually between me and across the road, where I share up to 18 hours a day, unfortunately. But they're going, oh, that's exciting. And the weirdest thing is, with Kathy in the kitchens, I just wish that I could have known about you before they were in the state they were in. But what I'm trying to do is think how I can get something local to understand, because they're getting money to do all of this, to be able, so the OT comes in. So how can you get in contact with the OT? Anyway, that's enough for me tonight because we're nearly finished.
Thank you. Over to you, Karen. So the challenge for next week, how are you going to fare putting that into action?
I've actually I just Googled self-publishing and it just came up with a load of stuff. So I've got my title. So 3 self-publishing platforms every author should know. So link, that'll be Amazon, Lulu and Ingram Sparks, and just a little bit about each one, backlinks to each one, links on to book sizes and stuff within the stuff I've already done. Job done.
Fantastic. Well, ladies, we've got to that time of the day where we're signing off. Thank you all for your contributions. Wow, I just feel like you feel. I wish I'd known this stuff years ago. But I think I knew elements of it, but I never joined it all together and made it real. And I think that's the difference that we're doing now. Yeah, we're turning this knowledge into something highly practical and highly marketable on our websites. No longer are we going to be losing all that amazing stuff that we're writing on social media feeds. We're going to start strategizing, becoming sharper in what we're writing about, pulling it onto our website and making our website blog the island people come to explore with us what we're about, what we're doing, understanding our expertise, you know, us highlighting the good things that we do, lessons we've learned. We're going to have amazing blogs that are going to be head and shoulders above our competition out there, taking us that next step closer to being really one of the best in our field when it comes to peers, you know, recommending us or being seen by the experts out there in what we do. So congratulations, everyone. Thank you for staying the course this evening. And let's just make magic happen between now and next week. And I look forward to seeing you online this time next week. Well,
Thanks so much, Cheryl.
it's a pleasure. See you all next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.